Alright, fine. I'll talk more about Heated Rivalry. This blue strip of light in the club scene at the end of episode 4 is fucking genius, and here's why. I'll fix the lights for this one. Does it look cool? Alright, so we're in the club. I'll be taking this from when Shane hits the floor up until the big moment. You know the big moment I'm talking about, right? Because it's worth seeing blind, so go watch it and come back. Okay, so Shane's getting dragged out by Rose, the Jennifer Lawrence of Steamy Hockey World, bathed in the blue light of the dance floor, while Rosie's on the sidelines drenched in red. He's up at the bar in his warm glow, doing his normal club thing of talking shit on his friends and grabbing drinks when he sees Miles and works out, aw shit, Shane might be there. First off, when he initially spots Miles, he's in kind of a medium shot, handheld to lean towards the pole. And then Miles waves and we cut back to Rosie, but much tighter this time. And wait a minute, what's this? A splash of blue light? Dum-dum. At least I think it's blue light. If I'm wrong about any of these colors, you're gonna have to let me know in the comments because technically I am colorblind. But we persevere. So here's the trigger of recognition and Ilya locks in. God, I still love that moment. Then we swing around him as he turns to the crowd, now on high alert for his estranged freckle-faced baddie. While he does, what started as a small reflection becomes a stripe of blue light literally slashing through the red backdrop. He came out tonight to distract himself from the Shane of all of it, and gosh darn it, the son of a bitch is already here. He spots him in the crowd and we get a shot of Shane and Rose, still bathed in blue. Back to Ilya, red is the home country, and then back to blue Shane. Shane looks over and spots Rosie's teammates who, and this might be digging too much to prove a point, but doesn't it seem like the red spotlight of the dance floor is really focused in on them? I'm assuming to reflect how in Shane's world, now Ilya's presence has begun invading his night out. The red spotlight seems to intensify on our little dancing boy until boom, the lighting goes absolutely nuts, strobing between red and blue as the music crescendos and begins to transition into the remix. And what triggers this shift? Isn't it obvious? Shaney Boy spotted him. I do think it's worth noting that when we first see Ilya dancing from Shane's point of view, the lights haven't gone crazy on him yet. In fact, not only has the strobe somehow not hit him yet, but he seems to be dancing in the shadow of blue light, mainly illuminated by the passing red spotlight. Anyway, we keep with this crazy red-blue strobe for the rest of the scene. That's kind of all I gotta say about it. They do seem to both be lit by a similar yellowy sort of tone in their respective shots at home after, which I take to suggest that they're both thinking about one another while in the midst of otherwise disappointing sexual experiences, but I'm not gonna show any of that because YouTube guidelines don't take kindly to that kind of mess. So yeah, that's what I got on the neat color stuff going on in the club scene of Heated Rivalry. There's actually kind of a lot of examples of this motif. Shane blue, Ilya red. It's a fun thing to look out for on a rewatch. The best use of it, I think, is actually in this shot from the tunnel scene in episode 5. And I'm not going to give you exact context for this clip. If you can't exactly place where in the scene it happens, go back and rewatch it because it's a real treat. Listen, I know this is intentional. It all is, right? That's what filmmaking is. But it's just so subtle and feels so coincidental. Tierney, my man, masterful work here, brother. And here's a surprising twist for you. That's actually my favorite use of color in Heated Rivalry. Get absolutely clickbaited. Cheers. Plus, like, it's not just the red and blue thing. It being a cop car further reinforces the risk of what Ilya's confessing in Russia. My girlfriend pointed all this out to me, by the way. Thank you, Lauren. But that just further illustrates what a great and intentional piece of art this show is. Anyway, I think that's all I got. Full disclosure, this was supposed to be a short. The video was actually going to be talking about pacing, which I guess if people are interested, I'll make one that might give me a chance to throw a quick shout out to this shot. But in the interim, I was gonna make a short about this topic because I recently made another video about the club scene and briefly mentioned that there was cool color stuff going on, and a bunch of people in the comments were like, wait, tell us about the color stuff. But when I looked into it, I kept finding new shit to talk about. By the way, that last video, at least at time of recording, has like 37,000 views, which grand scheme isn't a ton of views, but it's a hell of a lot more than I normally get on here. And I just have to say, I've been really taken aback by how kind all the comments have been. I've only once before did something that did well enough to get a bunch of comments. It was on Instagram, Detective Brock Rocket, if you want to follow me over there. But I'd say the comments on that one was mixed. to say the least. Like, for every person who was saying, hell yeah, man, there were at least 3 more telling me I was a lazy piece of shit. But on this Heated Rivalry video, y'all have been so nice. Like, everybody's complimenting my analysis, adding their own to build to the conversation. Even if they disagree with me, they're doing so without calling me a slur, which is pretty cool. And I feel like it really speaks to how nice it's been to get this excellently made, well-written and acted and directed show that's also unapologetically positive in its messaging. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of folks out there that are getting a little too parasocial with this and need to leave these poor actors alone. But for the most part, I think that it's cool that in these shit times, people have been given something of this quality to obsess over that doesn't simultaneously tell you how terrible the world is. Like, we know how bad things are. That doesn't mean that we have to dwell on it to find beauty, you know? Anyway, there's another Heated Rivalry video for you. If you've watched this far, thank you. If you haven't, I respect your decision. Shout out to any of you who jumped into the comments of that last video. I know I closed that one out saying I wasn't sure when I'd make another one, but seeing folks really engage with what I was saying seems to have kind of renewed the itch to get on here and listen to myself talk. Maybe that means you'll see more of me sooner rather than later. I'm not gonna make any promises, but we'll see where this goes, you know? And with that, until next time, thank you, you know, do good things, be well to others, stop shopping at Amazon, and most importantly, fuck ICE. We all have a civil responsibility to fuck an ICE agent's wife. Saw that on Instagram earlier today, and I'm not gonna fuck an ICE agent's wife because I'm happily, you know, I got plenty of that at home, but if you don't, go find her. She's definitely lonely, and she's not been satisfied in some time. She's probably watching the show, you know, just pretending. Wishing she didn't marry such a piece of shit.